Welcome back to It's been a long overdue, but we are here. It's an episode of Rachel's Roundtable, and I'm so excited to be here. Taking a little time off, but we're back and better than ever, and I'm so excited to have this guest today. I've known Mr. Linn, Doug Linn, for a couple years now, and I've been telling him, like, I need to interview it. I need to interview you. So today's the day. So I'm going to kick it over to Doug and let him introduce himself.
Well, thank you, Rachel. You're always a flatterer. My name is Doug Linn. I am a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 14 years. I grew up in Central Ohio, but I got to Cincinnati as soon as I could. So my office
Made
is
it
in
big.
Pleasant Ridge.
Yeah.
I live in Kennedy Heights, so on good days I can walk to work.
Beautiful.
And our office focuses on three things. We focus on real estate, business law, and probate and estate planning.
Okay.
So basically, we help people who like each other transfer money and property.
Right.
So we don't sue people. We don't defend people getting sued.
Emphasis on that.
Yep. I have great people who'll do that for you.
Right.
Great people.
But Doug's nice.
Don't go to a knee surgeon for dental work, right? Go to the right people for it. But
There we
we are
go.
really good at transactional law, which
Cool.
is when you're moving something from one place to another.
Yeah. And so we met Doug, shout out to Johnny Fitzpatrick, through my ULI class. And I can't remember, he connected us somehow, some way. I remember we had oysters once and we just have been able to connect each other. But this year, gratefully, we've been able to work together a lot this year, which has been a learning experience for me and for you. And I think just like how working in the probate process works has been a great learning experience. So we definitely need to share that wealth. So you mentioned at Linn Legal that you guys have business, so he can get y'all together with the LLCs, your business documents, any investors, probate, which we're going to talk a lot about today. And then the third one was
Real estate.
Of course, real estate law. Do you
Yep.
have a favorite between the three?
I love cases that touch on at least two of those.
Okay.
So we work with families who are looking at passing along their wealth to the next generation.
Yeah.
We look at people who are buying property for business, or families, a business owner who's looking for the next step. They're buying a piece of property. Maybe they're getting ready to retire.
Yes.
And they need to know what to do. And I tell you, don't stop working.
Yeah.
You got to work for 3 years and make as much money as you can before you sell. That's my free tip.
Yeah.
And as I'm talking about free tips, I want to make this clear too. So I am a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. I'm not any lawyer for anybody out watching. That's disclaimer here. Post-production will add it in.
Facts. Thanks,
I am a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. Nothing we talk about is personalized legal advice to anybody watching. If you have legal questions, call a lawyer.
Yes.
This should be the start of a conversation, not the basis for an incredibly stupid assumption based on what you think or do not think the law does.
All right.
So,
boom.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So I like working with clients where we can do a couple of those things too.
Absolutely. And what drew you to practicing law, especially like real estate law?
So I studied history and philosophy at Miami University. You know, I got tired of the money and the fame that comes with being a philosopher. So I went to Indiana for law school, go Hoosiers.
Okay.
And I originally wanted to do things like contract law, which is fine. It's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of logical stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. I like looking at, and I do those.
Yes.
But I got the opportunity to work with people early on and find that the best part of the law is the people you work with, the problems you solve for everyday people. So most of my clients, I'm the first lawyer they've ever met, which I think I make our profession look pretty good.
Absolutely.
And I like to be, I always say I work on Main Street, not Wall Street. So I like to work with people, and I was really drawn into probate law, real estate and business law, because these are the things that most people are going to touch in their life.
Yes.
Even like law-abiding people, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You're going to run into one of those things or another, and having a good lawyer who knows how to get the job done for you, that's a real service that we can do.
Absolutely.
So all the lawyers in our firm love serving people. They're people lawyers.
And they've expanded. Linn Legal's expanded so much.
That's
so it's exciting. He's
That's
like,
right. Shout out to Jamal and Lydia.
Yeah, shout out
Kayla,
to
who has run the front for a very long time.
Yes. So I'd love to see the expansion.
Couldn't do it without them.
No, I love that. That's awesome. And also, I will say I commend you because I feel like you have such a passion, and that's why I'm excited to talk with you about this. And you do it from your heart. Like, I will say the times that we've worked together working with families, especially probate, it can be very sensitive. It's a lot of grief that goes with it. Not only did their loved one pass away, but now you have to deal with the unknown. There's so much that goes into it. So can you explain to us, like, how is probate defined?
Yes. Okay, so I'll give you the basic scheme. There's a place called probate court. Every county has one. It has nothing to do with probation. Okay, probation is criminal law. That's totally different. Probate court in every county exists as the kindly grandparent that's there to take care of people who can't take care of themselves. So chiefly, children, the dead, the mentally incompetent. We need to have somebody in our society who looks after them. That's the function of the probate court. You also get married there. Some of them oversee park districts. Some of them hear appeals from sewer cases. Weird stuff. They can do over 200 different kind of cases. Name changes, things like that. So it is a court that exists next to common pleas court. They are both big people courts. They have what we call concurrent jurisdictions. So probate's a division of common pleas, but probate is kind of a clearinghouse for like the odds and ends. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I like
they know you by name.
Yeah, they know me by name. I have a decently good reputation there.
That's great.
And when people talk about the probate process, often that's shorthand for somebody has died, they have stuff, and they didn't make a plan for it. Where does the stuff go? So we can talk about making a plan for it in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
But probate court is where you end up if there's a dead person with stuff, or if there's an alive and competent person with stuff and you need a guardianship.
I see.
We do that too.
But
mainly, well, mom passed away, grandma passed away, dad passed away, brother passed away. They have a house. What do we do with it? They have bank accounts.
Yes.
If they didn't make a plan for it, it has to go through probate court. The probate court appoints an administrator of the estate. If they wrote a will, it's called an executor. Don't get hung up on the terminology. They just appoint somebody whose job it is to gather all the stuff and distribute it according to the law or according to the will. They have a fiduciary duty, which means that if they steal the money, that's bad. If they let the house burn down, that's bad. And they have to be a faithful servant to the beneficiaries of the estate. So our office serves as administrator frequently, as well as the lawyer. The lawyer helps guide things through. The administrator carries the big sack of money through the court and gets it to where it's going. So there's 3 stages in a probate case. When somebody dies, you find the heirs and you open the case. You find all the stuff, and then you find all the debts that have to be paid. And then you pay the debts, and then you distribute what's left to the beneficiaries. You pay the lawyer at the end. The lawyer gets paid out of the fees of the case. It's a common misconception that you have to go and pay the lawyer at the beginning to open the case.
That's huge.
You get paid at the end. Lawyers get paid at the end, or else they would never finish a probate case.
And that too.
And drag it out as long as they could if they got paid up front.
Really. And we're going to talk about like misconceptions and kind of debunking a lot of those. You gave us so much information. I'm like, but
so how do you stay out of probate court?
Right? I was going to say,
that's a big part of it. That's estate planning. You don't need to be an English lord to have an estate. You know, you need to have stuff that you want to have go where it goes. If you don't have a plan for it, it goes under the laws of the state of Ohio. It's called intestate succession. There's 7 categories it goes down. Usually it goes to who you think it goes to. Blended families, it's different. If people want to disinherit somebody, they can. Nobody's entitled to an inheritance. You don't even have to leave your good-for-nothing relative $1. You can disinherit people. But if you want to make a plan for it, you can. I'd say like probate court is like driving through Atlanta. You have yourself and your money's on the other side of Atlanta, and you got to get through Atlanta somehow, right? If you make no plan, you got to drive straight through Atlanta. You got to figure out a way to get there. You will eventually get there, and you're going to have to stop a couple times. A good lawyer knows the fast ways to get through. You got to pay him a little bit of money to get there. If you make a will and you say, this is who I want to have be the administrator, this is who I want my stuff to go to, and you make plans like a transfer on death affidavit for your house, you name beneficiaries on your bank accounts, you can go around the suburbs of Atlanta. You can skirt around it. You still got to go through.
I like that.
You're probably still going to have to go through. Right? A little bit. If you make a trust, you build a private road between where you are in the money, and you get the good drive around Atlanta completely, and there's no traffic. Just costs money.
I love all of those. And yes, it's so important, like how you're kind of, because so many of these terms, especially like on social media, I'm sure there's a lot that goes around that talks about like the difference between wills and living wills and trusts, and people finding ways to kind of take your assets. So I love that Atlanta highway, because nobody likes Atlanta traffic if you've been there once or twice. So getting into like, we talked about wills briefly. I don't want to get too technical with it, but what kind of tools? So we said living will, a will, and then can you very briefly describe a trust and what the importance of a trust is?
Absolutely. So I think everybody, while they're alive, they should have documents that take care of them while they're alive. They need a plan. So you need a medical power of attorney who has the power to pull the plug, as well as 10,000 other things. And your financial power of attorney, you can access your bank accounts for your benefit if you're laid up or incapacitated or you lose your mind. Those, I think, are 2 crucial, essential documents. if nothing else, if you own a house, if you do nothing else, there's something in Ohio called a transfer on death affidavit.
Very important.
I'll do one and file one for you.
Yes.
2025 prices is $379 filed. It's done.
Yes.
It's cheap. It
Yeah.
says, when I die, don't put my house in probate. Give it to this person.
Yes.
It skips it completely.
Yes.
You can get a house in somebody's hands in 10 days.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's
Wow.
fast. And it's the best way, I think, if you do nothing else,
Yes.
of at least trying to preserve the family wealth that's in the house.
And that's so important. And that's why we're here, because real estate, obviously, and generational wealth go in hand, especially in this country. And that's why it's important for agents and attorneys and real estate attorneys to be knowing what's going on or how we can refer business. Like, we've had many discussions about how I can, in my business, start having these transfer on death affidavit questions at closing. Like, because while you're in the mindset, you've already done your loan documents, you've already signed a million different things, you sent money, you did this. Why not just add that to the list for an additional $300? You can save your families thousands.
Yeah, just get it done
while it's top of mind. And of course, and I think we'll talk about kind of some of the friction or some of the hesitations that people have when they're having these conversations.
Absolutely.
But I think it's it's simple, but it's just something that you have to be very diligent upon.
Yep, you got to pick up the phone and call an expert.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Yes.
You got to, don't go through your life and every day think, I'm not going to get it done, because it won't get done.
Yes.
I'll talk also briefly about trusts.
Yeah.
A trust is an agreement with where you take something you own and you split the obligations of having it with the pleasure of having it. So when I tuck my daughter in every night, I say, I want you to have all the good stuff and none of the bad stuff, right? That's naming a beneficiary in a trust. It's like, here's a house, you get to live in it. Somebody else makes sure it's got insurance and it's fixed up and it's got taxes paid, and we've got a pot of money for them to manage for it. Typically, you do what's called a revocable living trust. It's a great comprehensive way of doing estate planning, and it's a way to make sure all of your wealth transfers privately and immediately to who you want to go to.
Yes.
There are some you can set up rules, whatever rules you want to make about it. About the only rule we can't do is encouraging people to divorce their spouses or encouraging people to leave their faith. Basically, any other rule you want to set up, you can.
Okay.
I've had rules where people have had to have full-time jobs, rules where they have to go get a college education,
Yes.
rules where I had one where they were forbidden from getting an education at the University of Georgia. Go Georgia Tech. Shout out to that client.
Wow. And so they put these as conditions.
As conditions to get your inheritance. Yeah. So things like that.
Okay.
But things like, I want my children to get access to this money, but not before they're ready.
Yes.
Or I love my son or I love my daughter, but maybe they're not married to somebody who's going to manage it very well. Or they're gonna blow it.
Yeah.
So any sort of control like that.
Yeah.
If you have a blended family, i.e. children from a prior marriage, I think it's essential to have a trust. If you have a child with special needs, it's essential to have a trust. Trusts, there's some misconceptions. People think if you put your house in a trust, then there's asset protection. There is, but only if you do certain kinds of trust work.
There's a veil.
Yeah, that's right. They cost money. We can do them. Come talk to me. We can do it. Most of the time when I talk about it with people, they find the juice isn't worth the squeeze on that. But if you're a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, you might want to look at asset protection strategies on that. If you're somebody who could be likely to be sued for a professional licensure thing, a malpractice
Real
thing.
estate.
Yeah. Hey, I don't own the house I live in.
No.
I'll be frank on that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me too. I'm like,
yeah. So and there are some hard and fast reasons there why you might do a trust. I talk about it that they're like heated leather seats in a car. They're always better to have heated seats in Ohio, right? But they cost more.
I love your
And
analogy.
as part of a comprehensive plan, you should get them done. There are some good reasons to have them if you're in a blended family and you want your money to take care of your spouse while they're alive and then go to your kids and not theirs. You got to do it with a trust. Nothing short of that will get it done.
That's real.
Yep.
Okay. And that's why we're here. You mentioned, we talked about so many different things, including common misconceptions. Is there any, we want to debunk some of those.
Yes.
Is there any implications when people are inheriting real estate, tax implications or things like that they have to be mindful of? You're not a CPA. We're not CPAs.
Yeah, most of the time there's no tax implication whatsoever. So I'll walk you through some of the basics on that. When somebody dies, the IRS says the value of it steps up to what it was on the date of death. So if grandma bought it in 1965 for $40,000 and now it's worth $250,000 and you inherit it, it's worth $250 the day you buy it. If you sell it, there's no capital gains tax on it.
I see. Okay.
Unless you sell from,
Right.
right. So,
Sure.
yeah, and then inheritances, give or take, the first $14 million in an estate is tax free. I don't deal with
Don't worry
estates that are
about
what we
that.
call taxable. I have the people you call for that. All right. So
Wow.
if you have that, call
First
me. I'll put you in the hands of
14
the right people
million.
for it.
That's so
But yeah, people feel like, well, if I inherit it, I'm going to have to pay the debts of the
yes.
person who
Yeah.
died. That's not true. You're never ever liable for the debts of the dead. Their debts stay with them in the estate, and if there's no money left to pay those debts, they go away.
Mm.
That's a common misconception. So I get to give people the great news that there's probably no tax they're going to pay.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
There, with some asterisks, if you wait a long time before calling me and somebody's been dead 8 years, there may be something involved.
Okay.
Inheritance, IRAs, things
Okay.
or retirement accounts, IRAs,
Things
things
like
like
that.
that.
Okay.
You got to call a lawyer.
Right. I
Call a
was like,
lawyer.
I'm not gonna get too technical because
Yeah.
I'm like, I will ask you questions
Another
offline.
misconception is people think if I call a law firm, they're going to send me a bill if I just call them. If you call our office, it is not the case. I can't think of a law office in
Yeah.
Cincinnati in probate that charges to talk to you for a consultation.
Yeah.
They'll call and see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, they'll say, great, let me get some more details, set up a call with a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
That lawyer is going to go through what the estate looks like,
Mm-hmm.
what the heirs look like. They'll be able to tell you, hopefully over the phone or in a meeting, what the timeline and the cost looks like and what the complications are. But
Right.
you can have a 20 to 30-minute consultation for free.
Yeah, that's important.
And you're going to have to call. You're going to have to set up an appointment. You're not going to get a lawyer on the phone as soon as you call, just like you can't get your doctor on the phone if you call their office.
Yeah.
But go with a firm that practices probate law as a focus,
Yes.
like our firm.
Yes.
If they'll do your divorce or your bankruptcy or your DUI, I don't know you're going to get the same representation you get for a place where you
want
talk
somebody
to a lawyer and they say,
specialized.
I do divorce.
Yes.
They know me my first name down
Yes.
there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You want
Yeah.
somebody that's specialized, and that's a great
That's
point.
right.
And just as many things as you're interviewing clients, they're interviewing you.
That's right.
So what kind of question, maybe like a couple questions that would be good to bring into an initial conversation if you're meeting with a probate attorney? What's important that somebody should prepare for their initial meeting?
I think it's worth asking. So what does the process look like?
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to explain it. They should
Yeah.
be able to draw it out for you.
Yeah.
I think it's worth asking about concerns you have. Hey, there's a mortgage on here and it hasn't been paid in 4 months. Is it going to get foreclosed on? Hey, it may. It may. Talk to the lawyer about it. Hey, well, the grass is getting long. We need to pay somebody to mow it, or there's a cable bill, or there's an insurance bill.
And it happens, or there's a repair, or
Yeah.
something happens, or
Yep.
anything happens.
Yep, you're going to get a good explanation
Yeah.
there. It's worth looking for a probate law firm and a lawyer that you can communicate well with.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the reason why is that most of them are going to charge just about the same rate. The local courts in Ohio have a guideline fee. It's not a mandatory fee.
Okay.
It's not a set fee,
Okay.
but they say it's a guideline.
Okay.
Most of the law firms, it runs about 5% of the cost of the probate estate.
Okay.
Some of them, it's worth asking how they charge.
Yes.
Right?
Always.
But most firms are in that range.
Okay.
And they'll be able to give you an estimate when you go in and talk with them. So you need to interview based on fit.
Mm-hmm.
Not based on how cheap is this going to be, because
Yes.
it's going to be about the same price everywhere. You want
Yeah.
to look for somebody who knows what they're talking about
Yes.
and makes you feel wanted and respected and listened to in the meeting.
That's very important, especially like you're saying, if this is the first time that somebody is interacting with an attorney. And it can be, for some people, very daunting. Like you said, going to the doctor, going to the dentist, going to the attorney's office is unfamiliar for people. So that's really important, making sure you feel respected.
Absolutely. When people come in, we like to get the addresses of the property before they come in. And I like to give people the deeds.
Yeah.
And I like to say, here is mom and dad's deed.
Wow.
I have done the research.
Yeah.
Here it is. Whether you go with us or other people, here it is. And there should be some investment from somebody when you sit down and meet them.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's so important. How long do you typically work with clients, more or less?
Yes, we can work very quickly to get things started. In Ohio, there's a rule that a probate case, I'll tell you how it works, and I'll tell you why we do things the way we do things. And I'll tell you it's not going to be finished within 6 months of somebody dying.
Okay.
And the reason why is that for most creditor claims that are not secured, which means credit card bills, things like that, hospital bills, if they're not like a mortgage on a property or a car with a bank loan on it, A creditor has 6 months after the date of death to make a claim on the estate. So,
Oh.
Rachel, you might say, well, what happens if there's no estate open? Well, under Ohio law, they have to open the estate and present their claim in
Oh.
6 months, or generally those claims fall off and they
Okay.
can't be collected.
I see.
Anybody listening needs to talk to a lawyer. Do not take that to the bank. IRS bills have to always get paid. Medicaid always has to get paid. Mortgages always have to get paid. This is not the secret to free real estate, right? But because of that, if you opened a probate estate the day after somebody died,
Hmm.
you still have a 6-month creditor window after death.
I see.
So you got to wait that out.
I see.
After that, I tell people you're looking at about 3 to 18 months, which is a big range.
It is.
You can get it done in 3 months
Yeah.
if you tell the lawyer you want them to be the administrator of the estate. Our
Hmm.
firm does it. We can do things very fast
Yes.
because this is our day job.
Yep.
It costs a little more. We can do it fast. If you're willing to wait a long time and you're willing to do it yourself with lawyer guidance, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Um, most claims can get solved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Most of the real estate can get sold pretty quickly. The way things can get dragged out is if it's hard to find heirs, people don't want to answer the mail. You've got people who are living in the houses who
Mm.
say, well, mom left it to me and I don't have it in writing and it's not in the will, but I'm not moving out. And it's just sticky, weird stuff. The
I'm
evictions,
sure you see lots
things
of
like that.
too.
Somebody steals a dump truck that was owned by somebody who's dead. You gotta go get the dump truck, right?
You
Things
sound
like
that's
that.
very specific.
Yeah, oddly specific.
And that too, like there's so many family dynamics. Like we said, it's sensitive because
Yep.
a lot of people are working with grief, especially a
Mhm.
recent thing, and there can be challenging relationships behind that grief. And
Mhm.
then, like you said, siblings and sibling
Yep.
relationships. And then not only that, you're hunting people down at times.
Mhm.
So tell us like something that comes to mind of where you had to like it took that 18 months longer. Like what was that process like? What was it
Mhm.
like looking for heirs or people that are assuming this estate?
Yeah, some of the long cases can be there simply because you have a lot of stuff to go through.
Mm.
Junk cars, um,
Ooh, we
specialized tools, construction equipment, things like
so you're
that.
finding value for all of
We're,
these
we're
things.
trying to find value where we can. Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and and you're never going to get 100 cents on the dollar,
Of
but we
course.
try and find that.
Of course.
And things can just kind of things can get stuck if a case gets snagged on a you got to sue somebody for this or that.
Mm.
Or you can't get all the heirs to answer their mail or consent to a sale. So you've got to
Mm.
sell real estate through a companion lawsuit called a land sale. I won't get
Wow.
into that, but
Sure.
that can make things sticky and drag
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Sometimes IRS tax claims take a
Mm.
while. If people didn't file their taxes for a number of years, you got to get their taxes filed. The dead have to pay their taxes. Um, You got to track
It's
people
fine.
down. So I have an interesting case we're working on right now, so I have to be vague.
Uh-huh.
But the person passed away. They didn't have an estate plan set up,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have any close relatives.
Mm.
So we have to pull out the family tree, and you got to go up to the grandparents on both sides and find whoever has a heartbeat and whoever's living. And these people are remote relatives. And in those situations, you got to find these people. Make sure that your family tree is correct. You can't look it up. The government doesn't know who your cousins are. You got to look it up. So
Oh
we
my
pay people to do the family trees on
gosh.
that.
I've never considered
And then
this.
yeah, and then you got to go and you got to find these people and you have to find them, name them. Hopefully they pick up their phone and you can get a hold of them.
Yes.
And I had the lovely odd experience today of calling somebody and leaving a voicemail like, "Hi, I'm a lawyer in Cincinnati. This has to do with your relative Jane Doe, who you may or may not have ever known, but I think you may have some money coming to you and it's not a scam. Please call me back. I'll explain everything. It's not a scam, I assure you, but you
I
have
need
to
one of
call me
those
back."
calls,
Yeah,
God. I
right.
need one of those calls.
That's
I'm
right.
like, you're like Willy Wonka and like
That's
the
right.
like golden ticket. Like, hey, just a regular day, you might
Yeah.
inherit some like
Yeah.
investment property.
Yeah. So it
Wow.
takes time. I tell people it's like folding laundry, right? Like the probate process is like that. I'm good at folding laundry. I'm not good at folding laundry in person. All
Mhm.
right, you gotta ask my family, but
Mhm.
um, you don't take a particular brain power to do it. You just need endurance. It's an endurance award to
I'm
get to the
losing.
end. To get it
I'm
in the
losing.
dresser is what you've got to do.
It's a 3-part
Yeah,
marathon.
you got to get it all the way, and you got to get checks in the person's
Yeah.
hands, and you're not over. Then you have to then show the court that you paid those people, and then the
'cause
court.
you guys
Yeah,
are
you have a
embezzling funds,
fiduciary
of
duty to the
course.
court, right?
Yes.
So you got to make sure everything goes that way.
Yeah.
And it's I think
Wow.
it's a fun process. I love doing
Yeah.
the probate stuff because there's some puzzles.
Mhm.
There's interesting things you come across.
Mhm.
I had a vintage Porsche in a garage that we dealt with
Wow.
recently. Sometimes you have coin collections,
I was gonna ask about
things
stuff
like
like that.
that.
That people have been
Yeah.
like my Beanie Baby collection. Like, what is the appraiser? And that
Not a
too,
lot of
I'm
value in
sure.
most stuff.
And I'm
Most
sure
stuff
too,
is,
like
yeah.
there's like a perception, like, oh my God, I've been saving
Yep.
this for 50 years. I'm gonna make it big. And then
Yeah.
it's like,
The big excitement in our office is whenever there's a safe deposit box. All right.
oh,
9 times out of 10, they're empty. All right. Or they have
okay.
somebody's taxes, right? Or something boring like that in it. 1 time out of 10, there's cool stuff.
Okay.
All right. So we had one a while back where there was sports cards, right? And the baseball cards,
Yeah.
basketball cards, and
Yeah.
things like that. And most of them were absolutely worthless.
Yeah. Except.
There was a serialized Michael Jordan card in there, and it was number 23 out of 100, which we all
Of
know.
course. Oh
We
my
all know
gosh,
the
shut
Legends number on it, so we
up.
were like, $800 right there, cool. I have people I know and trust who
Mm-hmm.
are brokers and dealers
Mm-hmm.
in whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I get the stuff in the hands of people I trust,
Very
and then they
cool.
move it on, and we get some money back.
Oh my gosh.
Every now and then you open it up, and there's a fortune in cash that you're looking at.
Wow.
Our firm policy is that whoever's opening a safe deposit box has got to have another person with them filming it being opened, because people are putting a lot of trust in us. It'd be very easy for something to put in a pocket, and that's another reason why I say to families, maybe you don't want one of you being an administrator. They're going to go to
Yes.
Fifth Third, and they're just going to say, oh no, they didn't have anything in the bank account. Meanwhile, $10,000 in cash goes in their pockets, the gold coins, or they wanted me to have this jewelry, they wanted me to have this gun,
Yeah.
things like that.
And that's a great question. It was one of my questions too of what is important in identifying an administrator,
Hmm.
or I mean obviously like if you go through the legal process,
Yeah,
that seems like the most impartial and like most efficient way.
absolutely,
But
yeah.
even if it's like a family friend, like what's important for people to identify an executor?
I like somebody who lives in the state.
Okay.
Ideally, they live in the region, the Tri-County
Mhm.
area, wherever you are. Um, it's somebody who you trust, obviously,
Yes.
and it's somebody who is responsible enough. And my threshold question is, do they send you a Christmas card every holiday? And if they do, I think they pass the
The
threshold
litmus
test,
test. I like
right?
that. Okay.
Like, they don't have to be a math wizard, right? The
Sure.
lawyers take care of that stuff. But
Sure.
if they're at least responsible enough to send you a holiday card
Yes, I like
of
that.
whatever flavor or
What about a
persuasion,
text? I was gonna
that's,
say those are being
I don't
phased
know, if they can put a
out.
stamp on an envelope, you
Yes.
know?
But then sometimes do you feel like in cases is it better to have someone that's non-family, like maybe like a very long, and that's a big responsibility, of course,
Hmm.
maybe like a very long childhood friend, or
Yes, I think those can be great
yeah,
selections there too.
someone
Yeah,
removed from some of the like initial,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
fascinating. Okay, so we briefly talked about Medicare, Medicaid. I always
Hmm.
get it mixed up.
I'll tell it briefly. Medicare is an
Yes.
insurance program that cares for all senior citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to be poor to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Medicaid aids poor senior citizens. We
Okay.
don't want them on the street.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want them to be a burden to their families. We want
Mm-hmm.
them in skilled care nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Medicaid is there to aid people who are poor on paper
Mm-hmm.
get long-term nursing and hospital care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Medicare that cares for every senior citizen, there's
Mm-hmm.
no right to get paid. The government has no right to get paid back.
Okay.
You paid into it all your working career. It comes out of our paychecks every quarter
Mm-hmm.
or whenever you get paid. Medicaid, it has a right to get paid back.
Mm.
So if mom was in a nursing home for 3 years
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have the money to pay it, and you thought the state paid it, well, the state is going to come back and they have a lien on the house and the assets.
Yes.
They don't get to take everything. All right, that's a misconception.
Yeah.
But Medicaid has a right to come back.
Yeah. And that was a huge learning experience for me.
Hmm.
And is Ohio one of few states that can?
Most states have Medicaid reimbursement. Ohio
Okay.
has one of the most aggressive.
Mm. And they can put liens on properties to the point that it may exceed the value of the property.
Yes,
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, it's a misconception among many
Yeah.
people that, well, the bank's going to take the house, Medicaid's going to take the house, the
Yeah.
county's going to take it for back taxes, anything like that. Those are misconceptions. Talk to a lawyer.
Yes.
I've never opened a probate case where it has ended with me giving zeros to people. Like, I always have something.
Yes.
The reason why is all of these agencies will negotiate because they know they only get paid if you do the estate. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't do the estate, they don't get paid. The
Mm-hmm.
bank would rather work with you
Mm-hmm.
and take a little bit of a discount and
Yeah.
help your people get paid rather than have it sold in foreclosure
Yes.
because they get paid more money from you.
Yeah.
So that's a big
Wow.
misconception is
Yeah.
people think, well, oh, the hospital's going to take it, the nursing home's going to take it, the bank's
Yeah.
going to take it, and that's how
Yes.
families lose wealth.
Yes. And that's so important. And I understand the misconceptions, the misinformation, the fear, especially as we talked about offline, like in Black and Brown communities, generational wealth and purchasing a home is some of the most common. I mean, all communities, but
Hmm.
specifically buying a home is huge.
It's big.
And we're actually at a disparity, obviously seeing the numbers, and you want to continue to keep grandma's house or continue to be able to age in place. But it
Hmm.
feels very daunting when you know there's systems at place like Medicaid that I can say are predatory, because it's like people that are already poor are then being taxed after death in a way.
Hmm.
And so that was a huge learning experience, and like the work that we've been able to do learning about that. How can I check if I have a loved one that is aging or getting, having cognitive or mental um, challenges, I guess, for lack of better words? How can I determine ways to protect them from that process?
If they are mentally incompetent, they can't sign any legal documents themselves.
Okay.
That ship has sailed.
Yes.
The best you can do is attempt to get a guardianship through probate court
Hmm.
and manage their money and their
Hmm.
health for them.
Hmm.
There's still
As
some,
they're alive.
yep, there's still some protections involved. But as people age, there's planning that they can do. If they
Hmm.
say, I'm 60, I don't want any of my assets to go to a nursing home, I'm healthy now. There's planning you can do now that can shelter all of your assets from Medicaid and make yourself look poor on paper. There's people with $1 million in their checking account who are on Medicaid in nursing homes because they set up planning beforehand.
Yes.
And like you said, I mean, if you did the planning beforehand, that money's there. If you
Yes.
didn't do the planning, it's gone.
Yeah.
And all you're looking at is whether somebody decided to spend some money to plan
Yeah,
beforehand.
and that's so hard. And I think
Hmm.
once again, those conversations and it's not only the people broaching the conversations, it's the people with the homes and the estates. They're like, well, I
Hmm.
don't want to tell you about my money. Like, why
Yep.
would I let you know what I have so then you can anticipate? And
Hmm.
I can see that being like
Hmm.
an issue. So is there a way for people to check if there's liens or estates on a property prior to the probate
Typically
process?
not.
Okay.
Typically not. I mean,
Okay.
you can see if there's a bank loan on something,
Okay.
but we sometimes, you just shake the magic 8 ball and you see what the answer is.
That's
And if it's
very
a huge
magic.
Medicaid lien, because sometimes I have clients who say, "Oh, mom was never on Medicaid," and it's like, well, she was, or there's something here, and we got to
Yeah.
work through it.
Yeah.
Um, but there's good planning is good protection there.
Yes.
And I don't know the great answer to talking to aging relatives about putting a plan in place.
Mhm.
I mean, if they want to keep the family home in the family,
Yeah.
they got to take a plan.
Yes.
They got to do something. They
Yeah.
plan to pay off that house. They
Doesn't
bought it.
happen
They took care
magically.
of it.
Yeah.
It's not expensive to do all of this planning. But you may end up in a situation where you don't, and now the house gets split 6 ways, and maybe you
Mhm.
think, well, that's what I wanted anyway.
Mhm.
But now nobody does anything with it for 30 years. It
Mhm.
sits, it decays.
Mhm.
Half the people are dead. I have a
Mhm.
house that went to 8 people. All 8 are dead now.
Wow.
We have 14 heirs. We had to split it into absurd fractional ownership to be able to figure out who owned it. Generational wealth destroyed. First family house this
Mm.
family ever owned, last family house they're ever going to own.
Mm.
Everybody rents now. If they had put a plan in place 20 years ago, they probably would have sold the house,
Yeah.
right? But then everybody would have got 20, 30, $40,000 to
And
go
could
and buy
invest
their
it
own
how they
house.
want.
That's right. Do
Mm.
something with it.
Yeah.
But it's a big misconception to say, like, I want to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
If you want to keep it in the family, talk to somebody who can do the planning.
Yes.
Maybe you don't keep it in the family. Maybe you set up a trust where the trustee sells it.
Mhm.
Maybe you leave it to one person. Maybe you
Mhm.
write a will that says it has to be sold. Nobody can inherit it. But if you don't make a plan, it just starts getting broken up into
Mhm.
smaller pieces.
Mhm.
And it doesn't go the way people want it
Yeah.
to. The roof caves in, the
Yes.
boiler gives out,
Yeah.
the
And it always
copper pipe
happens.
gets
The
stolen.
taxes go up.
Yep.
Everything can happen. And I think that's important. And it's the final act of love that you can have for your family is to create a plan. Because if people, once again, are high emotionally, they're not thinking
Mm-hmm.
logically, people are pitted against each other, those family dynamics
That's
come to
right.
full force. It's
That's
hard to
right.
make logical, like, decisions
Absolutely.
at that
Nobody wants
point.
to think about what mom or dad would have said if they were still here. They don't want to
Mhm.
think about that.
No, no. And that's the hard part. But I admire your passion, especially for helping Black and Brown communities. I know specifically that's a passion
It's a
that you
big
have.
passion of mine.
Yes.
We have
Good on you.
very established historic communities of color in
Yeah.
Cincinnati because of the Great Diaspora. People
Mhm.
came here, they
Mhm.
got good jobs, they bought houses, they
Mhm.
took care of them,
Mhm.
they're proud of their houses.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
let that fall apart.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I love to help people. I have
Mhm.
20 cases a year where it's
Yeah.
like, we didn't do anything for 10 years with the house. It sat there.
And then the
You know, a good
property
for nothing
value.
cousin was in it and then stole all the wiring out of it when he got kicked out.
Yeah.
What do we do now? Well,
Yeah.
there's no intergenerational wealth there to pass on
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
And that breaks my heart because that's the tale as old as time, and that's really unfortunate. And I think that's where we come in as advisors, having those conversations and spreading this information,
Mm-hmm.
beginning to even get people to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
especially going into the holiday season. Like, y'all, this is a great time. Even though past the games, past the mashed potatoes, sign the medical power of attorney.
Mm-hmm.
We said we need a medical power of attorney,
Yep.
a financial power of
That's right.
attorney, and a transfer upon death affidavit. Would you
That's
say
right
your
for the
3
house. Yeah, I'd
recommended
say at
documents?
least get those.
Yes.
We do those in
Start.
this. We have that plus wills, all the other
All those
attendant
things.
documents in our essentials
Yeah.
package that we do for clients. Yeah.
Absolutely. What would you say is the most rewarding part of your career?
Oh, I like leaving a good impression on people about our career. Again, like I said, I'm the
Yeah.
first lawyer most of them meet.
Yeah.
I like it when people come in and they are very upset or confused.
Yeah.
I love having people in good hands when they leave.
Good.
At the very beginning of the meeting, at the very end of our first meeting, all the way through the lifetime of a case, I want to have their back.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you do it so well. And I think you're so approachable and fun. And I always just enjoy working with you. And you've been amazing to work with. And I've
Thank
learned a
you.
lot. I think we've sold about 5 or 6 this year, which
think
has been
so.
a great experience. And I appreciate you trusting me with your clients. And I mean that very deeply. I'm not going to cry on camera, but I am. And it means a lot to me to be able to also help these families and also show real estate because a lot of times it's their first time selling or owning a home too.
That's right.
And hey, this is how we do it. This is the process. Doug is QB, but still we're here. We are making sure we're communicating with the attorneys, with Jamal, with Lydia, everybody. If there's tenants involved, if there's a grandson or a granddaughter involved, everybody has to be on the same page. So I really am deeply grateful for you allowing me to service your clients and be a part of that transition. And like you said, continuing to help them reinvest. And what did they want to do with the money that was left for them or
That's
the
right.
things that were left for them? Any final piece? Where can we find you? How do we contact you or get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So you can find us online at
Mhm.
linnlegal.com. My
Mhm.
last name is spelled I can't do sign language, Linn. Linn. It's the most misspelled last name. linnlegal.com.
Mhm.
You can call me at
Mhm.
513-426-9443. You can come shoot hoops at Pleasant Ridge Rec Center. I am right next door to it. I'm pointing at it right now.
It is.
It's right over there. You're
Yep.
sitting in my office right now with me.
Yeah.
You can call Rachel and she will give you a warm
Yes.
introduction to me.
As well. And the Linn legal team will definitely take care of you. And
Thank you.
thank you. No, I appreciate it. Feel free to say any final words. You did an amazing job.
Thank
just
you.
speaking from the
Yes,
heart.
it's a pleasure being able to talk with you and be able to educate the community. I
Yeah.
think, wow, some days I feel like I'm a professor
You
and I
are.
like to
Yeah, in a
teach.
way.
I love the puzzles we get to solve
Yeah.
here. I love training my staff
Yeah.
about all the wild things that you can do in
Yeah.
Ohio probate, like
Yeah.
if people go missing, if somebody's presumed dead, what do you do about these things? What's a dog worth in an estate? Things like
I've
that.
never
You
considered
know,
that.
all of those things. It is fun to be able to learn these and teach these. I am still a student. I've been doing this
Yes.
for so long, but I
Yeah.
love to learn and I
Yeah.
love to teach.
And every day is a different adventure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. I
My pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That's a wrap, y'all.
That's a wrap.
Yay! Rocked
Great
it.
job.
Nice.